Hello, everybody. I am Jmulls of Jmulls Gaming, and it's that time of the year again where people put way too much stock in award shows. You know we have to run the gauntlet. You know we have to go through this and vote, because some of these picks that they put in this year's award show is actual comedy. Oh my god. So you know we're going to go through this. I'm going to give my votes, my picks, for Game of the Year and all of these categories, even the ones I know nothing about, because, let's be fair, this doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. Okay, let's cover, because apparently we're starting with Game of the Year for some reason. We have Astrobot, Balatro, Black Myth Wukong, Elden RIng Shadow of the Erdtree DLC, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and Metaphor ReFantasio. I've been on record saying that this is a very, very, very stacked year for gaming. I personally wouldn't be upset about Astrobot, Black Myth Wukong, Rebirth, or Metaphor getting Game of the Year. I have never played or really experienced Balatro, so I can't really speak to it. However, these four games, in my opinion, are really high quality and are worthy of being here. Astrobot is a magnificent return to form for PlayStation, harkening back to the era of platformers they used to be known for back in the days of the PS1 and the PS2. Astrobot is beautiful, well put together and executed, packed with content, great game, love it. Black Myth Wukong really put game science on the map. It's a very well executed Soulsborne-esque game, and I will fight on that issue because it's 100% inspired, at least. It's a great action RPG. It does a great job as amazing boss fights. Its overall pacing is really good in my opinion. A couple of difficulty spikes that are a bit weird, but in the grand scheme of things, I think Black Myth Wukong is an amazing experience that I fully enjoyed and I'm glad that I played. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I am a big Final Fantasy VII fan. I loved Remake, and I think Rebirth does what Remake did, but does it better overall. I become full snob when it comes to 7 Remake and Rebirth, in my opinion. I understand that, and I accept it because I know I'm right. Watch people take that way too seriously. I think Rebirth is one of the most well-put-together and well-constructed games of the last few years. It has its issues. Some of the mini-games, in my opinion, are just frustrating and don't control well, but the vast majority of them, I think, are well-put-together, fun, and add to the overall world, and I think 7 Rebirth feels like Final Fantasy VII in all the right ways. It has an amazing combat system that iterates off the back of Remake, and honestly just does it better in every regard. It's an amazing game. Metaphor ReFantasio I haven't finished yet, but I am near the end-ish, and I think it is Atlus's magnum opus. In a lot of ways, it is what I enjoyed so much out of the Persona series, just done in more interesting and unique ways that we haven't seen Atlus do before, and I think it's extremely well put together. I'm not that big of a fan of the side dungeons, but that's like my only main critique for this game. At least so far, it is amazingly well put together. The combat system is fun, the party system is great, the archetype system is amazing, and it's just overall an incredible experience. I love the music, it's just really good, and does an amazing job, like Atlus tends to do, at constructing a cast of characters and making you fall in love with them. Now, having said that, let's cover Elden RIng Shadow of the Erdtree, because that is what I'm going to vote for, because it's going to be really funny if this actually wins Game of the Year as a DLC. Look, I've said for years people put way too much stock in award shows overall, but especially for video games, right? Like, if I want to be analytical here, I'm not entirely sure why Shadow of the Erdtree is here, because it is just a DLC. However, if we are talking amount of content provided, Shadow of the Erdtree is a lot, and it's only $40. And you can put in a lot of hours in Shadow of the Erdtree. I do have my issues with Shadow of the Erdtree, though. I don't think it is without faults, however, I do really enjoy it overall as a DLC. I think some zones in the open world in Shadow of the Erdtree feel too empty, and should be more populated with things to do like the base game was. And there's a couple of bosses that I'm not entirely a fan of in terms of the overall design. However, my biggest offender in that regard was the final boss that they eventually patched. And I haven't done the post-patch final boss, but from the changes I saw, it looked way better. I think if there was a best DLC category, Elden RIng Shadow of the Erdtree would absolutely dominate that, and I don't believe it would be close. if you want to make the argument that Shadow of the Erdtree just has so much in it that it is deserving of being classified as its own separate game, like, okay, it does kind of feel like Glaze, but I am a glazer of Elden Ring, so you know what, okay. Personally speaking, I wouldn't put it in Game of the Year contention because I think it is a DLC, it is an add-on to Elden Ring, it is not its own separate game. If it was its own sequel, then okay. But if we are going to act under the assumption that DLCs count or should be classified as separate games for these awards, then I don't see how previous MMORPG expansions weren't at least nominated for a few awards in previous years. Now, maybe my memory's just bad and they were, that's possible, but I would say if we are going to classify DLCs in the future, at least presently, as nominee potentials for these awards, then I think that should apply across the board. I think if we're talking about games by themselves, it would be a close tie between Rebirth and Metaphor ReFantazio for me, for my personal Game of the Year, with the asterisk being I still need to beat Metaphor ReFantazio, though I am right near the end of it. However, since this is just an award show, and I think people take this crap way too seriously, I'm of course going to be voting for Elden RIng Shadow of the Erdtree, because if Elden Ring wins and it sweeps these awards, that will be the funniest timeline to be in. I need those memes so badly. Oh my god, I need them. I'm voting for Elden RIng Shadow of the Erdtree. This is too funny as a possibility. Sign in, dude! Alright, I'm voting for Elden RIng Shadow of the Erdtree. Let's go. Let's go! Alright, let's lock in. We have 28 other categories. Let's lock in and hope this website works. Okay, legitimately, what's the point in this category? Best game direction. Because theoretically, right, if the game wins Game of the Year, then it would also have the best direction. So theoretically, the winner of this category and Game of the Year should be the same freaking game. Awarded for outstanding creative vision and innovation in game direction and design. Look. Again, if we're talking personally speaking, I'm not upset at Astrobot, Black Myth, Wukong, Rebirth, and Metaphor winning it. But again, it will be really funny if Elden Ring wins it, so I'm going to be voting for that. Though personally, I think it would be between my Game of the Years overall that are actual games and not DLCs, Rebirth and Metaphor ReFantazio. I would probably give the edge to Rebirth personally, but if we're talking overall, I think Black Myth Wukong absolutely deserves a nod. But again, I'm voting for Elden Ring because it's funny. Let's go. We move, yeah? We go. Keep going. Now we have Best Narrative for Outstanding Storytelling and Narrative Development in a Game. I'm going Final Fantasy VII Rebirth for me personally. Big 7 fan. I love Rebirth. I think it has an amazing storyline. I think it is also a great litmus test to test people's media literacy. I wouldn't be upset at Metaphor ReFantazio getting it though. I think that game also has an amazing narrative. I'm just partial to 7. So we're voting for 7 Rebirth. Let's go. We move. Finally, this loaded before 5 minutes elapsed. Best Art Direction. Okay, I think Black Myth Wukong is absolutely gorgeous. I think Astrobot is absolutely gorgeous. I think Elden RIng Shadow of the Erdtree is also very gorgeous. I do feel like this is Metaphor ReFantazio's category to lose. I do feel that. God, though, this is close to me between Black Myth Wukong, Shadow of the Erdtree, and Metaphor ReFantazio. It is. I think the nod should go to Metaphor. I wouldn't be upset at Black Myth Wukong getting it, or even Astrobot. I just don't know never. But again, God, it's going to be funny if Elden Ring sweeps this. So if we're speaking analytically, I would probably give the nod over to Metaphor. But for the purposes of future comedy, I'm going Elden Ring. We keep moving. We keep pushing. Finally, the website's working. Oh my god, let's go. Best Score and Music. Okay, this is a stacked category. I think Metaphor ReFantazio's music overall is very good. It is not my favorite, though, overall. I love the soundtrack to Stellar Blade. And honestly, I kind of wish it got a nomination for Game of the Year as well. I thoroughly enjoyed this absolute beautiful game. This is Rebirth's category to lose, though, in my opinion. I think it will be close between this and Metaphor. I won't be surprised if Metaphor gets it. I just think Rebirth's soundtrack is a masterpiece overall, especially when you get into the nitty-gritty and really deep dive into it. Like, good God, the Genova theme. Best audio design. Like, we all know I'm going Rebirth here, right? Like, we're under no illusion or anything like that. We understand we're gonna go Rebirth. Again, beautiful game, I love it. Best performance, awarded to an individual for voice, overacting, motion, and or performance capture. We have Hellblade 2, no. Silent Hill 2, no. Star Wars Outlawed, no. Life is Strange, no. We're going to be going Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I'm going full team Brianna White. Let's go. We go. We keep moving. Come on. No diff this. Let's go. Innovation and accessibility. Get Dragon Age the hell out of here. Dude, these kinda suck. Not gonna lie to you. Where's World of Warcraft The War Within for the arachnophobia setting, where they change all the spiders in the spider expansion to be crabs? That should be here. If we're gonna count DLC anyways, then I'm gonna go with that. Okay, I can't hold it in good conscience to vote for Star Wars Outlaw or Dragon Age the Veil God. God. This is... I'm gonna go Black Ops 6. I don't know what they did, though, but I'm gonna go with that. Why not? Sure, we go deep. Games for impact. For a thought-provoking game with a pro-social meaning or message. The biggest flop here is that they didn't put Metaphor ReFantazio here. It absolutely 1000% should be here. I don't know why it's not. I don't want to vote for... I don't know any of these. Close to the Distance. Now, this is gonna be the worst, like, reason to vote for a game of all time. Sounds like Close the Distance, which is one of my favorite songs from Final Fantasy XIV. Though I don't know anything about this game, but I saw a couple trailers for Zao. It looked cool. I'll vote for that, sure. Best ongoing. If Destiny 2 wins this in this year, that will be the biggest Geneva-breaking war crime of all time. Get Fortnite the hell out of here, by the way. I think Helldivers 2 was a great game. Unfortunately, it's just the type of game that gets kind of old for me. I don't even think this year's expansion of Final Fantasy XIV has been that good as of now, because we're still waiting for a lot of key features to come into the game later down the line. I'm just gonna go for Final Fantasy XIV though, sure. Let's go, gotta represent my game. We keep going. Best community support. Recognizing a game for outstanding community support, transparency, and responsiveness, inclusive of social media activity and game updates patches. Everyone, we all know this is Baldur's Gate 3, right? Everyone knows this. They added mod support natively in the game. Update 7 as well was a really cool thing. I'm going Baldur's Gate 3 personally. Next, we have Best Independent Game. I don't know any of these. Yeah. I just don't know any of them. I'm, like, tempted to vote for Animal Well because it has a kangaroo in it. But I like this, like, fox guy with, like, tree antlers. We're gonna go with Never. Never have I ever. Best Debut and Indie Game. So if you thought I didn't know about the last category, I especially don't know this one. Though I've heard of Manor Lords, we're gonna go with that one. We are very serious when it comes to our pickings of category winners over here. Best mobile game. I loved that if you check their Twitter, by the way, they misspelled Wuthering Waves. They called it Withering Waves, which is what I will be calling it from now on. I'm a big Withering Waves fan, fanatic, if you will. I don't know why they got an underscore in Zenless Zone 0. I legitimately think Wuthering Waves, or Withering Waves, should be, like, nominated for Game of the Year. The story of this game is insane. I'm not talking about the narrative in-game. I'm talking about the post-launch support. This game launched as, like, in, like, an okay state, right? The way over 4 patches, like, in the current moment, this game is improved is insane. I love Withering Waves. It is one of my favorite games right now. I am voting for this game. Withering Waves till the day I die. Or Wither. We go to the next category if this website wants to load, which is Best VR or AR. Okay, dude. Okay. I heard Asgard's Wrath 2 was pretty good. I'll vote for that. Sure. Why not? Best Action Game. God. This is a 2-horse race for me between Black Myth Wukong and Stellar Blade. I love both of these games. I love them a lot. I think Black Myth Wukong is slightly better and more consistent for me. I think that's what I'm going to go with. I think. But God, I don't want to go the entire way without voting for Stellar Blade. I love this game. Oh, this is a hard one. This is a very hard one for me. Okay, I'm going to be very nitpicky here because I also just personal bias, right? And also, again, Game Awards, let's not take it too seriously here. I like the action elements of Stellar Blade more than I do Black Myth Wukong, I think, but like I said, this is close. There's like a penis hair's length difference between these two for me. It is shockingly close. I love both these games. I'm gonna go for Stellar Blade because I love that game a lot. And I want to get something at least. Now we gotta wait for the website to work. Need you all to log off. Okay, can somebody please explain to me how Black Myth Wukong is not nominated for Best Action Adventure, because it 1000% is? For the Best Action and Adventure game, both of which are things you do in Black Myth Wukong, combining combat, again Black Myth Wukong, with traversal Black Myth Wukong, and puzzle solving Black Myth Wukong, I don't know why it's not here. It doesn't make sense to me. I am blown away. I'm voting Astrobot. Thankfully I can at least vote for this thing somewhere here. This game is great. I love Astrobot. Let's go. We roll deep. I said before, this year is stacked. Very, very, very stacked. What do we got? Best RPG. We're gonna lock in, chat. We're gonna lock in right now. I am hitting a gamer lean for the best game design with rich player character customization and progression, including massively multiplayer experiences. Okay, I'm going to assume character... No, like Black Myth Wukong again should be categorized here, because it's 1000% an RPG. I mean, personally speaking, I would go Rebirth or Metaphor, but again, it will be really funny if Elden Ring sweeps awards. I gotta go for Elden Ring. I would personally give the nod in my own award show if I did one to Rebirth or Metaphor, probably Rebirth. Let's keep going. Best fighting. Fighting is a genre I never got into personally. We're gonna go Sparking Zero, because Dragon Ball is really cool. Let's go. Next, best family. Astrobot. Fun for the whole family, especially when you throw your controller halfway across the room because you failed for the 15th time on one of the challenge missions. Astrobot. Let's go. Best sim strategy game. Yeah. Just not one I'm familiar with, really. I like Atlas. Unicorn Overlord I heard was really good. It looks cool to me. I'm gonna go with Unicorn Overlord, though I still think the name of the game is a bit weird. Best sports racing. I promise you I could not care less. However, I am a Boston Celtics fan. Jason Tatum for MVP. Because he's here, I gotta go for him. Let's go. That's just my own personal bias, like the rest of this list. Best multiplayer. Okay. Theoretically, I'm fine with either Helldivers 2 or Space Marine 2, personally. I think if we're talking about a multiplayer experience, I can go either way here. I think I'll go Space Marine 2, because I really enjoyed playing this with a buddy of mine. We're gonna go Space Marine 2 here, for the Emperor. Best adaptation. I've seen none of these, and I don't really watch these. See, the problem with voting for Arcane, though, is that I would be, by a law of mathematics, would also be voting for League of Legends, and I don't know if I can, like, fundamentally do that, but I also don't know if I can vote for Sonic. I'll tell you what, Miracle of Sound did a really good song for Arcane. I'll go with that. Sure. Best anticipated game, or most anticipated game. We all understand this category exists right now for GTA 6, right? Like, no one's under any illusion that anything but GTA 6 is going to win this, because, duh, it's GTA. I personally don't care that much about GTA, though. I'll vote for Monster Hunter Wilds, because I am looking forward to that game the most, though I think GTA 6 is about to sweep this category. Let's go with Monster Hunter, though. Content Creator of the Year. I think, personally speaking, it would be really funny if Elden Ring and a VTuber won all of these awards, because that would just upset a lot of people, and that would be funny to me. However, well, let's go. We gotta vote for them. Come on. Best Esports Game. Where's World of Warcraft Race to World Fest? I am not voting for Valorant or League of Legends, telling you that right now. I have never even heard of Mobile Legends Bang Bang. I am not voting for Dota 2. I guess I'll vote for Counter-Strike 2. I don't really watch esports, though, outside of, like, MMORPGs. I miss the days of StarCraft. Best esports athlete. I could not tell you who any of these people are outside of Faker, because my TikTok is, like, inundated with him. We'll go with Faker, though, because he's also one of my favorite classes in Metaphor v Fantasia. I mean, archetypes. We move. Best esports team. Again, I don't know. I know of Team Liquid because of the Race to World First in World of Warcraft, and it's not League of Legends, so we'll go for that, I guess. In before Team Solid to Team Gas. I think we voted. I think that was all of them. We have voted here. For those who don't know, my list is absolutely 1000% the objective correct opinion, and if you disagree, you're just wrong. I can't help it. Okay, jokes aside, it's all just personal preference at the end of the day. It's an award show. I think people put way too much stock in award shows overall. I just view them because I kind of find them fun. I look forward to the new announcements. Good time just to celebrate the amazing games we have gotten over the past year or so. I think this was an absolutely stacked year. Jokes aside, though, I don't think, or nor do I agree with the idea that Elden Ring should be nominated for Game of the Year, let alone a lot of these other categories. I think they should just do a best DLC category, which I think Elden Ring should rightfully sweep that one. If you want to make the argument that it has enough content to warrant a nomination, I can go with that, okay? It's just a bit weird. Though I do think this year was stacked, like I said. I wouldn't be upset about most of those games winning Game of the Year. I just don't know what Balacho is. I have no experience with that title. Though Astrobot, Rebirth, Metaphor, Fantasio, great games all around. Black Myth Wukong, glad it got nominated. Wouldn't be surprised if it wins. I think those games are all deserving of getting a look at. Been a great year for gaming. Here's to 2025. Thank you all for tuning in. My pleasure for making the video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like and subscribe. It really helps the channel out and help support future content, and I greatly appreciate it. Stay safe, have a great day, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye, everybody. Until we meet again.